come from my previous video where I repaired the motherboard from this ZX Spectrum Plus, I'm now going to clean up the case and replace the motherboard. So let's take the top off. What's left inside, I still need to resolder on the switch here, the reset switch, and I no longer need this heatsink since I've replaced the regulator with a switch mode power supply. So as you can see, this case is quite dusty. I need to clean this. It's also missing some feet. I've got some replacement feet for these. Let's move this to the side. Pop that out of the way. Okay, so turning over the keyboard, we see some screws. Now I've never taken one of these apart before, so it will be rather interesting for me to see how it's held together. So this looks like the right size screw bit. Now I'm not sure whether this membrane is in an okay condition or working or not, but I don't know if the camera's picking out here. It's got a funny colour, the connectors. Some of them are quite dark. Some of them here are quite light, where it's obviously corroded or whatever over the years. So I'm not sure whether that's going to work. I may have to replace it completely. But the main thing is I want to clean the case, and I was planning on just washing this in some mild detergent. So before I can do that, I must remove the membrane. So these two retaining clips can come off. Okay. Then this plate. Now I'm assuming all of these screws are the same size, so I'm not going to bother too much about the order that they came out in. The last one, so well, this is all held together, is it? I thought it's not. Ah, it's just stuck with dirt from over the years. Okay. So this is plastic. Okay. So we'll look at the membrane itself. So you can see here, plastic is cracked. Don't know how the track underneath fares. We'll give this a go anyway before I order a new one. So this you can see is filthy, so I want to wash this. Okay. First time I've seen one of these, so it's quite interesting for me to look at. And then we've got the keys here. So, do they come out if I hold the unit upside down? No. So, rather than try and take this apart individually, I think what I'm going to do is just wash the whole of this in some soapy water. I'm going to wash this part in some soapy water. I'm going to wash this part as well with detergent, and well, not these parts. I'll wash this part with detergent as well, and then attempt at fitting the little legs or the feet, whatever you want to call them, and putting the whole thing back together. So until then, bye. I've washed the computer in mild detergent and it's been outside drying, as you've seen in the clip. That was just on now, and as it was a nice day, it's all dried really quickly. So here we've got the keys. I did end up having to take the whole thing apart in the end. Here I've got little bits which go in the back of the keyboard. I did also mention that I've got some feet to put in here, or some legs. Little bit annoyed, I have misplaced them, so I'm going to have to do that at some point in the future. But right now, let's get the keyboard put together, and we'll test out the membrane to see if the membrane is okay. Okay, and there we have the reassembled keyboard, at least with the keys in. I still need to put in the rubber section and the matrix here and this piece of plastic. However, I've noticed that the inside these little white bits, it hasn't fully dried out yet inside the center. Some of them are still a little bit wet, so I'm going to put this outside to dry off, and in the meantime, whilst that's drying, I can get soldering and putting this soldering this switch back onto the board. Okay, so here is the device reassembled. Oh yeah, this is my old one, but this is not the one that's on. And here it is. Now, I've done the composite mod, obviously, as you've seen, so I've got it going into the SCART. The first thing I noticed when I type is not all of the keys work. So let's start at button 1. 1. 2 is not working. 3, 4 is. 5, 6, 7, 8 is not. 9 is not. 0 is. And the same or similar story with some of the letters. So what I'm thinking is the membrane also needs replacing. So I will have to go ahead and order one, and I may also get some screws so that we can fully close this. After the problem where some of the keys didn't work, I've ordered a new membrane. Let's get rid of the old one. Let's pop the new one in. And reassemble. Now testing the keyboard, all of the numbers appear to work, which is great, as do all of the letters. We can run through the entire keyboard, and all of the other keys as well seem to work. Okay, so let's try again. Let's load Chucky Egg, for example. And let's remap the keys. So up, down, left, right, jump, and now let's start. Let's go one player. Oh, don't get me, don't get me. I just jumped onto that. Okay, so the game is working. I'm not too sure about what's going on with the colours here. Whether it's anything to do with the composite mod, I may have, or whether it's to do with the TV that I'm using. I may try this at a later date, connect it to an HDMI adapter and see what the outcome is. But for now, I think that we'll say that this is working. Okay, so there we have the working Sinclair ZX Spectrum Plus. One thing that I do need to do, and those with keen eyes would have spotted when I assembled it again, is these legs. They're missing a piece of plastic, like a retainer clip or something on the inside to stop them disappearing up inside the computer. So until I source the appropriate piece of plastic clip from eBay or somewhere like that, or maybe there's a design online where I can get one 3D printed, I don't know. Well, until I get that, I'm going to have to put up with these legs like that. But it works quite nice, it works really well. It's nice with the DIV MMC plugged in the back here. So let's have a look around. So loading old games off modern technology with the SD card reader. So I hope you really enjoyed following me on my journey of getting this device working. And if you remember in the original video, I said the only reason I purchased this was to use the case for another project. So now I'm going to have to look for another case. Okay, but this time I think I'm going to just try and buy an empty case if I do go ahead with that other project. I really don't want to have to go through the whole heartbreak of receiving something that's almost working and feeling that I'm having to repair it again. So anyway, take care. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell to stay notified of upcoming videos.